Developed by Infinity Ward, Modern Warfare 2 is the second game in a rebooted Modern Warfare franchise. The original Modern Warfare 2 came out in 2009, while this reboot came out in 2022. That's right, there was a Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 that were all massively successful. So only a few years later, Activision decided to reboot the series for the next-gen console. The new Modern Warfare 2 isn't a remaster of the old version. This is a completely new story featuring some of the same characters and some similar story beats. As I said, Modern Warfare 2 released in 2022 and was an instant critical and commercial success. But it isn't perfect. We're going to do a quick review of Modern Warfare 2 where I'll highlight some of the things it does right and some of the things it does poorly.
He's planning something.
Well, we can't take him in Iran.
He's not in Iran, sir. He's on the ground in Al-Mazrah.
What the hell is he doing in Al-Mazrah?
There is only one way to find out, sir.
Well, let's get him.
When?
What time is it now?
Modern Warfare 2 is a sequel to 2019's Modern Warfare, the first in the rebooted series. Do you need to have played the first game to understand what's happening in this one? Not really, nor do you need to have played the original series of games either. This game stands pretty well on its own. While some of the character interactions may hit harder if you've played the first game, it isn't necessarily required. Modern Warfare 2 takes place in the contemporary era, where warfare has evolved beyond the lines of nations and armies, the conflict having moved underground and out of sight. The game boils down to this. There are a group of operators from many NATO and allied countries working together to stop terrorist threats, both international and domestic. The campaign for Modern Warfare 2 takes them to many different locations, ranging from Europe and the Middle East to the American-Mexico border. There's a terrorist cell operated by a man named Hassan, an Iranian that's being supplied weapons by the Russians. He intends to carry out an attack on US soil using missiles obtained from the Russians after they had attacked a US paramilitary convoy that were delivering these missiles to US allies. After tracking Hassan to the US-Mexico border, they learn that he is using a drug cartel from Mexico to help bring the missiles across the border. The campaign is pretty excellent, clocking in at about 8 to 9 hours depending on what difficulty you select. The characters of Soap, Ghost, and Price all make a return, along with some memorable newcomers. You play as multiple characters during the campaign, often switching back and forth as the narrative jumps from one location to the next. The story can be a bit confusing if you aren't paying attention, especially since things happen so fast, which is pretty typical for a Call of Duty campaign, but there are still plenty of things to enjoy. I will say that there are several sections that I wish they had either cut or changed, particularly a new mechanic where there's these large sections of gameplay where you don't have a gun and you need to craft items to distract guards or take them out silently. Overall, I thought the campaign was excellent.
Shadows on station.
Copy. All set here.
Seeing room to set down on the roof.
Check. Eyes on two armed at the front door.
Going on to the graphics and visuals, it's a Call of Duty game. It's on the cutting edge of technology. Facial animations, environments, and graphics are realistic, and the FPS stays steady with no drops or lag. If you find that it's a little bit blurry, you can improve it with Fidelity FX. But the UI for launching the game is atrocious. It's amongst the worst I have ever seen for a console game. Let me give you a little background here. I have the Modern Warfare 2 disc for the Xbox Series X. I loaded it in and found to my surprise that the disc is practically empty. I had to download over 200 gigabytes of data before I could launch the game, and then you are taken to this Call of Duty HQ, rather than the main menu of Modern Warfare 2. The Call of Duty HQ is sort of like its own launcher where you can access all the Modern Warfare games from a single place, along with things like Warzone and the upcoming Call of Duty Black Ops 6. But here are where things get even worse. After I downloaded a ridiculous 200 gigabytes of data, something that no other game but a Call of Duty game would ever require, I found that I couldn't even play Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer or campaign. That required an additional download of over 60 gigabytes. 260 gigs for a game that I had the disc for. The campaign is only 8 hours long. The multiplayer maps can be big, but they're not that massive, and there aren't that many game modes. How is there over 260 gigabytes of data in this game? For context, Battlefield 2042, which is one of COD's main competitors, is only 100 gigabytes. So I downloaded more content and could finally get into the game. I was immediately assaulted by the cash shop. They threw the battle pass and the cash shop right in your face before the menu even loaded. It's not like I could even tell what the multiplayer even looked like, let alone determine if I liked it enough to spend more money on the battle pass. Multiple menus and pop-ups later, I could finally get into the campaign. Activision, you seriously need to fix your Call of Duty releases. I'm sure it looks good on paper, but this was a confusing mess. Call of Duty players want to be able to load in and play the game as quickly as possible. They don't want to muddle through hours of downloading the game and then horrible UI menus to find where they need to go.
We're good to go, Coronel.
Let's get the fuck out of here, hermanos! Down the wall! We are leaving!
Moving over to the gameplay, I really enjoyed the guns in Modern Warfare 2, particularly the way the scopes work. Thermal and other enhancements look really cool, and the guns sound really good. There are a lot of silencers in the campaign, with that ridiculous, you have a silencer so nobody can hear it. Silencers don't make guns noiseless, it just means you won't go deaf firing it. The weapon variety is great, and there's lots of different options available. There isn't much I can say about the gameplay, it's typical Call of Duty. There are a bunch of different things you can do in the campaign besides shooting, like a driving section where you're jumping from vehicle to vehicle during a chase, and then there's this overhead plane section that has you blowing up buildings. For multiplayer, you have a lot of the same game modes return, along with operators. So in previous Call of Duty games, you could customize your person and your loadout, but this one your look is tied to skins and operators. Why did they make that change? Well, it's money, of course. Give us money for these skins, just like Overwatch 2. Finally, zombies. There are no zombie mode in Modern Warfare 2, which sucks because zombies is one of my favorite modes to play in Call of Duty game, but it's unfortunately absent here.
Copy that. Let's move out. Ghost, this is Zero 1, back in the water, inbound, to your position.
Calling copy, we're taking effective fire, the LZ will be on!
Roger that.
That's it, that's my review of Modern Warfare 2, short and sweet. Here are some pros and cons about the game. For the pros, the campaign tells a good story with lots of action and it does try some new things. It looks incredible with high production value. It has engaging gameplay and good weapon customization. Multiplayer is fast-paced and does feel balanced overall. But the cons are, there's no zombie mode. The enemy AI isn't great in the campaign. Multiplayer has less content than previous Call of Duty offerings. I also encountered a lot of people with super high kill-to-death ratios. Usually they were PC players. Maybe they are just super good and the keyboard and mouse gives them a tremendous advantage. But multiplayer does have its fair share of cheaters. Activision says that it has taken the steps to address this, but I think it's still a problem. Modern Warfare 2 had performance issues at launch, but most of them have been patched now. And that's my review. Thanks for watching and make sure to like and subscribe for more content.